Today we are looking at the MX Linux 23 KDE desktop environment release candidate 1. So as you can see, here is a July 13th, 2023. It was released like a few hours ago. So as soon as the ISO file is available, I will be making a content. I promised that in every video. So here is the video. I didn't read any release notes or the release announcement page or anything in their website. So I quickly downloaded and making a content. We need to explore on our own. So let's see what's new in the release candidate version. So I don't know anything new. So let's go to their website and check everything and explore every feature. So here is the boot menu of the MX Linux 23. So these are all the available options and some options in the bottom, which is F1 for help, F2 for language selection. You can choose any language you want. F3 for time zone. You can choose your time zone on your own. F4 for options, and F5 for persist, F6 for failsafe, and F7 for console. So let's quickly live boot by clicking on the MX Linux 23 KDE rc1. It's going to take a few more seconds to load up the desktop layout. Usually it should take like a 20 to 30 seconds. And it is a release candidate, so it's not a stable version. We should see how much of time it will take. I'm not going to trim the video because you need to know how much of time it takes usually. So I already made a content on PSI Linux 2.3.3, which was available today. So I already made a content on that too. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel, which is already available. So after watching this video, you can check that out. So this is a KDE Plasma desktop environment. So the code name for this 23 is Libretto. So I already made a video on MX Linux 23 beta version. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel too. So I made a lot of videos of MX Linux. Just you need to type like MX Linux in my channel. There will be a tons of videos in this because I made around like a 2000 videos on every Linux distro. So it will be helpful for you. So here is our mouse pointer and we should be seeing our desktop environment completely loaded, I guess. So while I was downloading the MX Linux 23 release candidate, the only available option or the only available desktop environment was the KDE Plasma. There is no XFCE and the Fluxbox like that. So this version was available when I was downloading. Maybe there should be like a XFCE and the Fluxbox, I guess, right now. Let's even say that also. I'm going to show how to download this Linux distro. So about is here. The desktop environment version is 5.27.5, which is a KDE Plasma. So here is my system information. Before that, let's close this thing and change the display setting because it looks pretty odd right now. I'm using a VMware, uh, which is 80 GB of hard disk and 4 GB of RAM with 2 processors. I'm using a 12th gen i5. So while there's a benefit while using a VMware, you need to just click on this option. It will automatically choose the display resolution. Sometimes it will change, sometimes it doesn't. It completely depends on the Linux distro. That was just a tip from me. So let's quickly go to the about system. Here is the complete information. If you want to check that out, everything is here. The kernel version is 6.1.0, which is almost like a latest version. I think the latest version is like a 6.4 or 6.5. I really don't remember that thing. So if you want to know what's the latest version, you can just go to the my channel and go to the community page. As soon as the latest version or the latest application is released, I'll be posting there. So you'll be getting all the information in my channel. So let's open the system monitor first and check how much of resources it is consuming right now. I'm going to place the system monitor at the right side corner throughout the video, so you will be having an idea of how much of resources will be consuming for every application. So the 1.4 GB of 4 GB I'm using a 4 GB of RAM for my VMware, which I already mentioned. So here is all the resources consuming. Here is some of the information. It's based on Debian New Linux 12 Bookworm, which is the latest version. And the Debian 13 was made in previous yesterday video. I made a Debian 13 ISO file or the Linux distro videos yesterday. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. And the code name for the Debian 12 was Trixie, not 12. Debian 13 was a Trixie. So there is a videos available like a cinnamon and gnome desktop environment videos were available. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel. I made complete videos. I didn't have any voiceover on that video, so it's up to you to view that video or not. So let's get back to the video right now. So these are all the process running right now. So let's go to the overview. The system monitor version should be like a 5.27.5. Let me make this thing smaller and keep it side. Let's put it on the right side corner. So these are all the system resources. Let's open the terminal or the console. Let's type in here, which is a console. And let's type in some of the commands to get the information of the distro. There's already a shortcut for that, but we type it on our own. About the console, the version should be like a 22.12.3. Let's type in inxi. So here is the information. Let's type in another one, which is inxi dash small b. So every information is here. So let's type in the inxi dash capital G. So here is information. Let's type in cat /etc/issue. So the code name and the welcome, everything is here. Let's type in, for example, inxi-sv8. This is the same command as the above one, but it will give you in the longer form or the lengthy form. So this is the complete information. If you want to see every information, you just pause the video and check it out. So let's type in NeoFetch. NeoFetch should be available or pre-installed in the MX Linux in all these other versions also. So it's available in this version also. So let's type in Headstop. Headstop should be installed already. So here is Headstop. I showed every information of the Linux distro. So let's close this thing. Close the window. Let's open the welcome screen because there are some of the information there too. Let's type in welcome, MX welcome. So the live password or the username will be here. So the user is demo or demo, password is demo, super user is root, and the password is root. So you need to know this thing because sometimes when you open some of the applications, it will be asked. So you need to remember these things. And here is the about. Here is the quick system full information. I already showed everything, so here is other information or the other type of shortcut available in the MX Linux. So these are all the things. So already showed, no need to worry. So if you want anything, you can just click on this thing and they will be highlighted here. So let's close this thing and let's open the web browser and let's check out what's new in the 23 release candidate. If it's available, if it's not available, we need to check that on our own. I think Firefox, yeah, here it is. I thought Firefox just crashed, I guess, but it didn't. It opened. So let's check the version of the Firefox web browser. It's the latest version 115.0.1. I think this is a point update, I guess. I already made a video on Firefox 115. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel. There is already a shortcut here. No need to type in the website. If you want to type the website, you just need to type in like MX Linux in the search term of or the search engine of your favorite web browser, and that should be available there. I think there is no release note or anything like that, just MX Linux Beta 2 version. I already made every video of the MX Linux beta version, all these things. So there is no release note. So, and you'll be asking where did I found the rc1. I found it on the SourceForge website. Let me take you there and show you how to download this thing. I'm using a VPN, so it's always asking like a change to English. So let's open the SourceForge and let's type in MX Linux, and here it is. Let's go to the files, testing, and here it is. The only thing is available is a KDE desktop environment. When you go to the xfce, which is 24 hours ago, there is nothing changed, just a few files were added. So these are the files added. So if you want the ISO file of the latest version, testing version of the MX Linux, you need to just go to the KDE desktop environment, because that's the only desktop environment available. As you can see, MX Linux 23 KDE release candidate, and the file size is around like a 22.6 GB. Sorry for that. I downloaded it from here, but it says zero downloads. I don't know why. 9 hours ago. I think they replaced some files, I guess. That's the reason it says. When I was downloading, it was like a 2 hours ago, I guess. But I don't know, whatever it is. So this is the downloading process. So there is no release note or anything like that. So it's clearly up to us to see what's new. So here is the installer. If you want to install it on your own, you can install it by clicking on the installer. Again, I'm going to say that it's a release candidate or the unstable version. So it's clearly up to you to use this Linux distro on your own or not. If you want to test it, you can live boot. There is no problem. So if you want to go with the installation, so it's always a good idea to wait for a few days, because it's a release candidate or the beta version, whatever it is, unstable version. So always a good idea to install the stable version if you don't want to face any problem like that. So only if you want to test it, you can test it on your own. It's always a good option to test it in like a VMware or VirtualBox, like a virtualization, everything like that. So if you ask me, I'm not going to recommend this uh, ISO file or the release candidate version. So only if this it is stable version, I'm going to recommend that. If it's not, then I'm not going to recommend it, because it's going to ruin your PC. Only if you want to test it, you can test it on like a virtualization. So it's clearly up to you. So the installation process will be same. So there is nothing different or change in here. So you need to choose your hard disk or virtualization or a VMware, anything like that. So if you want to test it on the desktop, like USB, all these things, so you need to choose like some, what they say, like a non-work PC or a main professional PC, like that. You need to choose a older PC which is not used for work or that, like that. So it's clearly up to you to use this Linux distro on the for the installation or not. So that's clearly up to you. I'm not going to recommend it. So after clicking on next, it's going to install. So I'm not going to do that. Let's close this thing. So the resources right now is like 2.1 GB of memory, and CPU is almost like under 15%, which is pretty good. I didn't face any bugs while using this Linux distro. As you can see, I didn't trim anything here. So there were no bugs while using this thing. Let's check other features and see if we will find any bugs or like that. So these are all the same options like in every KDE desktop environment, like desktop features like volume, internet connection, USB files or USB sticks, disks and devices, terminal, and the integration. So these are all the same options. So there is nothing new. or nothing different here. So let's see there is some desktop wallpaper changes or not. So these are all the available desktop wallpapers. I don't think they changed anything, I guess. If you find anything new here, you just let me know in the comments below because it will help other people's too. So this is the wallpaper. Let's quickly open some of the application and see how much of resources we get here. Let's open the kit. On the games, we don't need anything. As you can see, there is a bit of delay here and there, but it is a major delay here. Keep an eye on the system resources also, or the system monitor. Graphics, let's open the GIMP, I guess, and VGCam, and also the WinView, and also the LibreOffice. We saw the Firefox web browser already. Let's open Thunderbird. Let's go to the office and open the LibreOffice. Let's see how much of resources or the applications will it handle. On the settings, we don't have anything new, so no need to open that thing. On the system, we don't have anything here also. MX tools, these are all the same options, so no need to open these things. Office, let's open Okla. On the settings, we don't have anything here too. Settings, nothing. System, we just have like a time shift, so no need to open that thing too. Utilities, nothing. I think we are good with these applications like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I opened like 7 applications. I guess that's good to see how much of resources it will be consuming. And we have like a freeze, I guess. The resources right now are like a 2.8 GB of 4 GB of RAM, and CPU is pretty good right now. There is no high resources consuming here, just a RAM because there is 7 applications opened. So I think if you ask me, it's still good, but I'm not going to recommend this thing to use because it's a release candidate. Even it's a release candidate, it's a bit of stable. In my opinion, I didn't use this Linux distro for hours. I'm just using for the sake of the video. So like 1 or 2 hours, it is good. But I don't know for long run. I guess like 8 to 10 hours. We don't know what will we find. What will we find like bugs or like that. But right now I didn't find anything. But there was a bit of delay or freeze here and there. That's pretty common in a KDE desktop environment. So it's clearly up to you to judge this Linux distro. I'm not going to recommend again. So let's check the about version and end the video because there is no release note or release announcement page or anything like that. So let's see the version and end the video. LibreOffice version is 7.4.5.1. Let's close this thing also. Thunderbird version should be 102.13.0. Here is the version. Let's close this thing also. So the GIMP version is, I guess, 2.10.34 or 34. DGCam version is 7.9.0. So the GenView version is 22.12.3. All the desktop environment or the all the applications available in the KDE desktop environment version should be 22.12.3 because that's the thing will happen in every KDE desktop environment. So you don't need to open every KDE desktop environment application and see the version. The version will be same like this. So that's a quick tip from me. So let's see the kit version 2. As you can see, the version is same. So let's close this thing, and here is the resources. The memory went like almost like a 2.8 GB and the CPU went almost like a 20-25% like that. So that was the system monitor. I think we don't have anything left to see here. So let's end the video. Let's see the all the resources in the big screen. And application is not supported, no problem. Process is here. As you can see, there is no high peak or a high graph here, just here and there occasionally, not constantly. So the process, see, these are all the process running right now. I think that's the end of the video. So I already made a video on PSI Linux because I'll be posting 2 videos. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out after watching this video. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.